Could it all be connected? XRP ETFs, Trump's bold moves, Ripple's quiet push into Swift's $155 trillion payments empire. Some say it's coincidence. Others say we're watching a carefully planned reset of the global financial system, playing out in real time. And just minutes ago, the SEC dropped a breaking update on several spot XRP ETF filings. One that could change the timeline for when Wall Street finally gets regulated exposure to Ripple's token. But is this just another delay? Or the calm before XRP's biggest breakout yet? XRP spot ETF filings. Breaking news. Several spot XRP ETF filings have just landed, and it's sending ripples through the entire market. For months, the conversation has been dominated by Bitcoin ETFs and whispers of Ethereum. But suddenly, XRP is being thrown into the spotlight. And it's not small players filing either. We're talking about well-connected firms that don't just make random moves. Think about it. ETFs are not created for retail trend. They're designed for institutions, for hedge funds, for pension funds, for the kind of money that shapes markets. If these filings gain approval, it won't just be new exposure. It could be a tidal wave of liquidity pouring directly into XRP. The bigger question is, why now? What do these institutions see coming? Are they betting on regulatory clarity, or do they already know something the public doesn't? Whatever the case, the timing is too precise to ignore. Something major is brewing behind the scenes. XRP Breakout, a leading market strategist, has gone on record saying the breakout for XRP is no longer just a possibility, it's confirmed. According to their analysis, all the technical indicators are flashing green. The charts are showing patterns we've only seen before massive bull runs, and XRP is sitting right on the edge of that next explosive move. But here's the part that's catching everyone's attention. The projection isn't $2, $3, or even $5. They're calling for a surge straight into double digits. $10 plus is the target, and they're labeling it as unavoidable. Think about that word, unavoidable. That's not cautious optimism, that's conviction. Now, when a strategist with credibility makes a statement like that, it's not just hype, it's a signal. It means there's weight behind the data, and it also suggests that bigger players may already be positioning themselves ahead of the retail crowd. And if the ETF filings we just talked about align with this breakout call, then we're looking at a perfect storm building around XRP. XRP under $3. A well-known finance coach just dropped a perspective that flips the script on how most people view XRP's current price. While many traders complain about XRP being stuck under $3, he calls it one of the biggest blessings in the market right now. Why? Because for long-term investors, this is what he describes as a generational accumulation zone. Think about it. Institutions are filing ETFs, strategists are confirming a breakout, and Ripple is still sitting in the middle of trillion-dollar conversations around payments and global finance. Yet, XRP is still trading under $3. In his words, prices like this don't last forever. They're temporary windows of opportunity before utility, liquidity, and adoption start rewriting the chart. And when you look back, the investors who saw sub-$3 XRP as a gift, not a frustration, will be the ones positioned to capture the upside when the real run begins. His message is simple. Don't see the low price as weakness. See it as access. Because once the world catches on, this window may slam shut faster than most expect. XRP amendment. Deep inside the XRP ledger, something major is taking place. An amendment that one XRPL validator is calling a huge development. And this isn't just another routine update. Amendments are how the ledger evolves, how new features are unlocked, and how Ripple's ecosystem keeps pushing boundaries while others stagnate. This particular change is being described as a leap forward for functionality and scalability, the kind of upgrade that doesn't just affect developers. It has ripple effects, no pun intended, across the entire network. Every validator vote, every line of code refined, brings XRP closer to being the backbone of global financial infrastructure. And here's the part that should have every investor paying attention. technical upgrades like this usually fly under the radar for retail traders. They don't make flashy headlines like ETF filings or price targets, but in reality, they're the foundation that gives XRP its long-term strength. The validator calling this a huge development is essentially saying, pay attention now, because this amendment is about to strengthen XRP's position as a serious contender in the financial world. Trump's moves and XRP. An expert has come forward connecting recent actions by President Donald Trump to potential ripple effects on XRP's future. And the dots being connected are fascinating. Trump has been making bold statements about the U.S. financial system, digital assets, and America's role in the coming monetary shift. While he doesn't mention XRP by name, the policies and alliances he hints at line up directly with what Ripple has been building for years. Faster payments, global settlement, and independence from the old SWIFT system. Here's why this matters. When powerful political figures start speaking in ways that align with Ripple's mission, it signals more than talk. It suggests that decision makers at the highest levels are aware of the technology waiting in the world. Just imagine, if XRP were responsible for settling even 1% of SWIFT's traffic, that's over $1.5 trillion. And with the kind of liquidity and speed XRP offers, scaling beyond that becomes more than just a dream. Institutions know this. Banks know this. And the ETF filings we've seen recently only add fuel to the speculation that XRP is being positioned as a serious player on the global stage. We're not just talking about another altcoin pump. This is a play for a slice of the financial system's biggest market, and the stakes couldn't be higher. SEC delays XRP ETFs. Just as excitement builds around spot XRP ETF filings, the SEC has stepped in, pushing back key decisions on proposals from 21 shares and CoinShares. For many, this comes as no surprise. Delays have become the SEC's favorite tactic, buying time while keeping the market in suspense. And if those conversations ever shift into action, whether through policy support, regulatory clarity, or strategic partnerships, XRP could suddenly find itself with political tailwinds pushing it forward. The expert's warning is clear. Don't dismiss these moves as political theater. They may be the early signs of a financial agenda where XRP plays a much bigger role than most expect. SWIFT's $155 trillion question. Every single year, the SWIFT network moves an eye-watering $155 trillion across borders. It's the plumbing of the global financial system, but it's also outdated, slow, and expensive. That's exactly why Ripple and XRP are constantly being compared to SWIFT. The real question isn't whether Ripple will compete. It's how much of that $155 trillion market it can realistically capture. Even a fraction of that volume flowing through XRP's rails would be enough to completely change the landscape. But here's the catch. Every delay also signals that XRP is now part of the same high-stakes conversation Bitcoin and Ethereum have already gone through. The SEC doesn't stall unless there's something serious on the table. These aren't fringe applications. They're from firms with a track record, firms that don't waste resources filing unless they see a real chance. So the question becomes, is the SEC just playing for time? Or are they preparing the market for an eventual approval? History shows that delayed ETFs often end up being approved after enough pressure builds from institutions and investors. And if XRP follows that same path, then these delays may actually be the calm before the storm. The irony? The longer the SEC drags its feet, the more XRP quietly gets accumulated by those who understand where this is heading. Every stall could be creating one of the biggest setups the crypto market has ever seen. So let's put this all together. XRP ETF filings hitting the table. Strategists calling for a breakout past $10. Finance coaches reminding us that sub-$3 prices are a gift. Validators upgrading the ledger. Trump's moves aligning with Ripple's mission. And the $155 trillion SWIFT market waiting for disruption. Even the SEC's delays can't hide the fact that momentum is building around XRP like never before. The writing is on the wall. Something big is brewing. And those paying attention now could be in the best position when the storm finally breaks. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss these critical updates. The XRP story is unfolding in real time, and you'll want to be here for every move.